Gambia's president recommends for full implementation of the WTO during the Commonwealth virtual conference on Wednesday. Nigerian doctors have ended their sit-down strike after reaching an agreement with the government on their welfare issues. Secondary students in Ghana have returned to schools ahead of their final year examination. Well, this and more coming on The World Today. Hello, this is Africa TV. You're watching the World Today News Bulletin. I am Amadou Kante. Many thanks for joining us, and now the news in detail. Now, President Adama Barrow has said during the Commonwealth virtual conference of leaders on Wednesday that the COVID-19 pandemic presented a challenging period for the country, even though the population is united against it. He argued that the implementation of WHO Trade Facilitation Agreement would enhance access to all markets for the export of developing countries.
The wide-ranging effects of COVID-19 has brought to the fore the significant importance the Commonwealth attaches to trade and investment as prerequisites for economic growth, sustainable development, employment and poverty reduction. Consequently, enhanced access to all markets for the export of developing countries cannot be overemphasized. In this respect, implementing the WTO Trade Facilitation Agreement is immensely vital.
For Commonwealth countries held the conference amid the global health emergency, sharing solutions in challenging times to combat the virus. During the meeting, leaders explore and exchange workable solutions on the areas of technology and experiences that have helped in the combating COVID-19 and enhancing good governance. And from that development, next we head to Nigeria, because Nigerian doctors have suspended their sit-down strike to allow hospitals to resume normal operations after reaching an agreement with the government. Now, the country's resident doctors demanded for better working conditions amidst the impact of the COVID-19 and engaged government on a series of consultations. Patients were largely affected, but the government has committed for more resources to respond to their demands. Here is more details of that in this report.
The resident doctors make up around 45% of doctors in Nigeria, and without their services, state-run hospitals would essentially ground to a halt. So it's no surprise the government was quick in striking a deal with them, which led to the suspension of the strike. They're now fully back to work as officials of the association confirm their demands are now being met.
As regards life insurance, they've shown some commitments. Then the COVID-19 inducement allowance, they've started the payment, though they've not completed the payment as we speak now. Then secondly, the 26 of our members who were sacked or disengaged at Jos University Teaching Hospital, they've been recalled as we speak now. And then again, they also agreed that the Residency Training Act of 2017 will be universally implemented in all the centers. The Federal Ministry of Health has dispatched some personal protective equipment or gears to our members, especially at the federal and state teaching hospitals and some state governments. And we want to state clearly that provision of personal protective equipment is not a one-off thing.
Operations at the National Hospital in Abuja were affected when the resident doctors went on strike, as quite a number of them work here. But things are now back to normal.
During the few-day strike, of course, the level of patients that we are tending to actually reduced. But now we can see the turnout of patients have actually increased. People are coming to source for medical services in National Hospital. So we're fully back to work.
State-run hospitals are the first choice for majority of Nigerians, And anytime resident doctors who work in the hospitals go on strike, a huge number of patients are left at the receiving end.
I was so happy that the resident doctor has finally called off the strike, and I pray that government should do whatever they agreed with them so quickly so that this strike, this is not a period the resident doctor should be going on strike.
While things are back to normal for now, the resident doctors have only suspended the strike for 4 weeks to allow the government fully meet their demands. They have warned that if that does not happen, they might down tools again, something the government says it will ensure the situation doesn't get to that stage.
The intention of the government should not be misunderstood. So therefore, the rights of all doctors and health workers will be protected by the Ministry of Health by all means and in all ways.
The federal government says it has released 4.5 billion naira. That's just about $11.5 million now to 31 teaching hospitals and federal medical centers across the country as payment for hazard and inducement allowances for the months of April and May. But most states have not done the same, and that is where the problem is.
Nigerian doctors suspend sit-down strike after reaching an agreement with the government. Well, from that report, we come back home because the Minister of Health on Tuesday announced the escape of 4 out of 140 passengers who arrived in the country with SN Brussels on Monday. This incident took place while health officials were working on the safe and orderly transfer of all passengers from the Banjul International Airport to the various quarantine facilities within the Greater Banjul area. Well, as Minister of Health, Dr. Amadou Lamin Samate spoke to iAfrica TV on the phone earlier today, health authorities have since been relying on the legal mandate to enforce the obligatory quarantine of the law arrivals from Europe.
Yeah, they have actually been taken back. It was the first option is to trace them and then take them back to the quarantine, take them to the quarantine center. That's the first option, and that has already taken place, as I am aware. Yeah, people need to understand the Public Health Regulation, the Public Health Act. The Public Health Act empowers government, the Public Health Director, the Director of Health Services to act decisively in circumstances like this when the population, when the public is at risk.
Now, one of the returnees, Jamugai, explained the condition of the quarantine center as unbearable as there is lack of basic facilities such as water.
My name is Jamugai. I'm from the United States. I'm working with the Norwegian Cruise Line. We came here like the day before yesterday, last night. You understand? We came with SN Brussels. We landed at the Banjul International Airport like 8:10, 8:15. You understand? Then from there, we were taken from the airport to our various hotels in the Gambia. We are very unfortunate that we are brought here into this hotel by the name Tropic Garden Hotel. You understand? So since we came here, the logistics and all what we have been told is not happening here. From the rooms, the food is a little bit better. We understand we are all Africans, Gambians for that matter. We can take the food. But the problem is like the housings. We were told by the people working down here that they take out the fridges, they take out the TVs, they take out everything before our arrivals. You expect somebody who comes only from US, Europe, and they like been there for a number of years or months. You come here under these hot conditions. You expect to have your lunch, your breakfast with a single gallon of water. That's the 1 liter that they give us.
The Minister of Health responded that the quarantine situation in the Gambia is much better than those of her sister countries in the sub-region and beyond, and that the safety of the public should be considered primary goal.
Yeah, but I think I